start off with something since we are a music outlet. We'll go ahead and ask you, Olly, what is your top 5 rappers, hip hop, let's just say hip hop artists, dead or alive, sir?
Oh, dead or alive, oh my God, that's tough. Okay, 070 Shake, Don Toliver, Travis Scott, wait, no, now, because now I have to give like the top 5, that's hard.
I have time to think.
Okay. Because then once you say dead or alive, now I have to go way back, right?
It changes
that
it's
changes
you,
things.
Tupac and who would the last one be? Jay-Z. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. We've got Ollie.
Yeah.
Give me your top 5 hip hop artists, dead or alive, man.
I'm gonna say Tupac and Biggie. I'm gonna say MC Light. Gotta get some female energy in there. Let's see. I'm gonna say Big Sean because he's from Detroit. I just got to. And then I will say, I'll say Jay-Z too.
Ah, shit, Young Thug. I forgot about Young Thug.
Okay.
This is hard.
It is hard. It is hard. It is
Once
hard.
you said dead or alive, that's hard.
All right, good. We'll go ahead and start off with Showrunner in terms of my first question there. You and your team, first of all, have done a fantastic job of recreating this beloved series for us as well. You were able to kind of pick up from last season and just felt like it was seamless, like it happened the day before. So, Carl's challenges around Black identity have always been a conversation piece in the community. The first episode, really pushes him into a new space to where he's forced to deal with that kind of head on. What can we expect to see in terms of this dynamic going forward for this season?
Yeah, I think for Carlton, he's sort of stepping into a new space this season with Will as his wingman, trying to create a new buddy, a new friendship there. And so we will definitely see Will pushing Carlton into places that are a little uncomfortable. When you ask Will to be your wingman, it's a little bit of be careful what you ask for. And so as he has the best intentions for Carlton, it's also making Carlton a little uncomfortable, pushing him maybe a little too fast outside of his comfort zone as he tries to pull him more into Will's world. So it'll be a bit of a push-pull with that friendship, but also we'll see how that uncomfortability will start to weigh on Carlton, trying to become somebody he's not yet become.
Gotcha. This one's for Ollie. What makes Carlton such a polarizing character, and what lessons do we hope the audience can kind of take from his journey?
If I'm being honest, I think what makes Carlton so uncomfortable to watch is that he is a character that at first you don't like. You meet him and he has a lot of qualities. You're like, oh God. But the longer the show goes on, the more you realize how much of him is in you. Right? I know when I first started, when I first approached the material, my first thought was to judge him and be like, who is this kid? Why is he the way that he is? But the longer I spent playing him, there's so many parts and aspects to Carlton that I have to identify with, as a Black kid growing up in America. There's so much of that identity politics and being caught, feeling like you're being caught between two worlds and having to sacrifice one part of yourself in order to be accepted. One or more parts, in a lot of cases. So I think that that's sort of what makes Carlton so beautiful, right? He's a multifaceted human being that's learning and growing to be Black in America.
Absolutely. And it's great that you kind of mentioned your origins, because that's kind of where I was going to go. Both incarnations of Carlton have struggled with Black identity on the show. You were born in Nigeria?
I was born in Atlanta, but I grew up in Nigeria.
Grew up in Nigeria. Okay, I got that a little confused there. Okay. Did your personal journey around, having the roots that you have kind of help you relate to this character even more? Did it help you play that a little bit better?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, coming to the States as a kid, having spent most of my time in Nigeria, there was this, this sort of having to reckon between the fact that as an African kid, that felt different for whatever reason than being an African American kid. But at the end of the day, the institutions around us that serve to keep us down still see us as Black. Right, no matter what, no police officer knows that I'm African. Do you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But that's the thing, I was still born in the States, so I am still African American. But that cultural divide definitely took a lot of adjusting and kind of growing with when I was younger, and I think I always tap into that. Whenever I have some scene to play that's just like, all right, Ollie, you're gonna go through it, I always tap into that when I need it.
Very nice. All right, we'll go back to the showrunner for a question there. I look at the soundtrack as another character in the show. You know, the sonic background that really kind of sets the tone for the different scenes. Talk about the process of picking out songs for these incredible stories that you're telling.
Yeah, you know, I have to give a lot of credit and shout out to Morgan Cooper, the creator of the show, because he was so intentional season 1 about the music and the artists that we brought to the show and the sound of the show for each scene, for each character. He made a playlist for each character that we could all listen to and
He sent
tap
mine to
into.
me.
He
You want to know
did.
the crazy thing? He sent me his Carlton playlist, and I always make playlists for every character I've ever played.
Oh,
And I think we had
wow.
like 4 or 5 songs that overlap.
In common.
And that was one of those moments where we're like, how did this? Because I'd never seen this. Anyway,
Right,
carry
right.
on. Yeah.
It's true. He's so good, and he's so specific about and intentional about so many things. And the music was definitely one of them. And season 2, he definitely has his stamp on it. And you know, and we have a really good, healthy music budget for the show, and so we can maybe have 2, hopefully 3 big music drops in each episode. And so we really figure out what are those big tentpole moments in each episode, and what are those big songs that are gonna make people remember this episode and this scene. So yeah, it's a lot of fun to play with the music in all of the episodes.
Very nice, very nice. Let's go a little deeper. The impact of fatherhood on young men of color is very much at the nucleus of this show, the reimagining as well as the original. Every choice that's being made can either uplift or send somebody into a tailspin, as we've seen. This season, we've got another potential father figure coming up in terms of with Doc and Will. How important was it to show the nuance between that father and son relationship in the Black community?
Yeah, I mean, super important. Like, Will went through it at the end of last season. You know, he was struggling sort of all season 1, with missing his father and needing answers about what really went on, and ending last season in such a traumatic way. Like, we knew we wanted to come back this season and not have it dealt with so cleanly. It was going to be something that he was definitely dealing with, whether he knew it sort of intentionally, but more under the surface, that it's like this wound that he can't sort of get over. And so bringing in that Doc character was sort of our way of showing that he's still searching, he's still looking, he's still flailing. And even though he presents very strong and like he's a young man who has it all together, and he's trying to be independent and find his own way, and he's charismatic and gets along with almost everybody he comes in contact with, there's something that's still missing. And that Doc character sort of is his way of that push-pull between Uncle Phil, who has sort of served as that father figure for him, versus Doc. Now that he's not sure he can trust Uncle Phil fully, he's sort of gravitating towards someone else and sort of feeling that with this other character. And we sort of worry, like, is this the sort of father figure that he should be gravitating to right now? And knowing that Uncle Phil wants to sort of be that person for him in his life, because he knows where Will is at emotionally and knows that this is a character who's searching. And when you have a young man who's searching for something, you want to be that sort of grounding force for him. So that father figure theme plays out all season, really, for them.
Very good. Olly, back to you, sir. One of the most powerful moments from the first season is when Will caught, Carlton, using in episode 6. You really see
Was
Carlton.
that 6 or 7?
I think it was 6, based upon that. I think it was 6.
Crazy. I've been saying 7 this whole
I
time.
think it was 6. And I went
Okay.
back and I was just like,
Okay.
I thought it was right after the church scene. I was just
Okay.
like, no, that's not right. So I think it was episode 6. You see Carlton really break down, and you see Will consoling him, and you really see Carlton really allow himself to be vulnerable, and you can really feel the shift in their relationship kind of after that. Tell us about shooting that powerful scene and their dynamic, kind of what we should expect coming up, man.
I mean, shooting that scene was, I'm not gonna lie, it was tough. It was a hard scene. That's one of those scenes that you read as an actor, and then for the next 2 weeks, you're like, oh God, I have to shoot, because you know what that scene means, right? You, as an actor, you know that not only is it gonna be highly emotional, but also it's gonna be really important in the whole narrative. But what the creative team did so well, something that we don't talk about as much, is the casting of this show, because Jabari Banks as Will Smith is one of the best casting decisions in the history of casting decisions. And playing that scene with him was just easy, right? He made it so much easier he held space for me to go there, and everyone on set was just so, they just stayed open, and they let me kind of go to where I needed to go. So that easily was one of my favorite scenes that I've ever shot, but also one of the hardest scenes that I've ever shot. And yeah, like that in that scene, you see the Will and Carlton dynamic shift a little bit, and you see the trust that these two brothers build. And so at the beginning of this season, they're closer now, right? They're getting along. You know, Carlton says to Will, "Yo, like, I hate to say it, but you make me kind of cool." Like, you get what I'm saying? And I think that moments like that moment in episode 6 have laid the groundwork to them becoming closer now. And then throughout the rest of this season, we see how, you know, the various social pressures kind of impact their friendship.
Love it, love it, love it. All right, we gotta go back to the showrunner. Gotta go back. All right, Jeffrey. Jeffrey's always been a very interesting character, but in this one, you know, you kind of made him mysterious in terms of his background and such. Like, we see him manage their home, but we also see him as a protector of the family. Will we get more of Jeffrey's backstory in this upcoming season?
Yes, definitely. I think we heard what the fans said, and we're going to give the fans what they want, which is, yes, we like Jeffrey as a man of mystery, and we don't really know what he's capable of or exactly what he does, but we just know that he's ever present and he knows how to show up at the right time, and he's a bit of a fixer as he gets things sorted. And so in season 2, we still want to keep that man of mystery vibe, and but we will definitely this season find out a little bit more about Jeffrey and what makes him tick, and also why he made some of the decisions surrounding Will that he did last season, which was a betrayal between him and Uncle Phil, and why he did that. And so we will definitely find out a little bit more, not too much, but a little bit more about Jeffrey this season.
Right, very good. All right, I hear that you of course, I see that you're a multifaceted artist, but I hear that you're also music as well. Can you tell us a bit about that? We're a music platform, so we want to know what you're doing. We want to know about your creativity.
I'm a producer, I'm a writer, I'm a singer. Pretty much, you during the year you can catch me in 2 states. I'm either on set filming or I'm locked up in my studio all the time working on music. I always say that, you know, through acting is how I get to work through other people's stories and other people's emotions, but in my music is where I get to work through mine. And you know, I'm not a person that likes to wait for other people's permission to create art. And so that's where my love, you know, I've always loved music. And then as I was starting off in acting, kind of figuring out my way around things, I was like, yo, let me just make stuff, because in this way I can make my own thing. And currently the project that I'm working on, you know, don't know when it's gonna come out, you know, still working on it. But the project I'm working on kind of chronicles my crazy journey in entertainment, because I graduated college in 2019. And 2019 was functionally when I started my professional entertainment career. And so it's just been a crazy, very quick ride. And, you know, in this project I'm working on, I, you know, kind of talk about everything, the highs, the lows, et cetera, et cetera.
All right.
Yeah.
Ooh, I can't
Very
wait.
good. I can't either. I'm interested to see it.
It's like, it's, you know, it has elements of hip hop, R&B, pop. I try to take everything from everywhere that I can. You know?
Okay, because I thought we were going to get a little taste of it when you were going into the church scene. I was like, oh, we're going to get a
Listen,
little
I
taste
know.
of the
I
voice
thought
here.
so too.
I know,
I was
we all
like,
wanted more.
artistry
You know,
interrupted.
We'll see. Look, if Carlton can get out of Ollie's way, maybe
Yes.
one day
Right.
fans will see it. Yeah.
All right, I got to ask you one here about you know, Alfonso, because obviously, you know, he kind of set the standard in terms of this particular character. But I have to ask, have you chatted with him about this? And if so, did he say, "What are you doing here, man? What are you doing my character here,
Come on,
man?
man.
You don't even like me anymore. What's going on?"
He was like, bro, reason with me here. So Alfonso and I, God, it's been such a wild ride that we haven't actually gotten the chance to just sit down and talk like that, because like he's been really busy with hosting, and then when he's free, I'm shooting. But we're trying to link up at some point soon, and when we do, we're gonna take pictures, we're gonna make video. But you know, he was definitely like, look, I keep hearing like, you're killing it, keep doing you, but God, keep doing you. You know, so he's very great.
All right, last word here is for the showrunner, man. As I watched this show, the most I could think of, or all I kept saying to myself was, wow, they really got it right. And I say that because everyone truly fit what we thought they would be in the modern era.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Hillary, you're like, she would absolutely be an influencer. You would absolutely see that, you know. So I guess my question is, you know, when you guys were putting together the show and everything like that, did you really, you know, how were those discussions in terms of, you know, who should be what, or, you know, how should we make Uncle Phil, or how should we make this? Like, tell me about those discussions, because they had to be, like, did they get heated? Like, no, this isn't what they would do. No, I think this is the best direction. Tell me about that.
I mean, it was a lot of discussion around it because this is obviously an iconic family. The Banks family, everybody is attached to them nostalgically in some way. So a lot of discussion along the lines of how much do we keep them similar to who they were, and how much do you just sort of blow the doors off. So I think what we really tried to do was like keep the heart and the essence of what people loved about this family and this Banks family, which they just love that they're a family that supports each other, that loves each other, that they fight, they don't get along, but at the end of the day, there's a love for each other. And there was something about that that made that show special. So I think for us, it was like, how do you capture the foundation and the heart and the spirit of that? But then when you comes down to each individual character, like really just being able to, sky's the limit, take risks, who are they today? You know, Carlton can be that Carlton who he is, but you know, at the end of the day, there's still seeds of the foundation and the spirit of who Carlton is. So I think just trying to do that with them as a family, but also with them individually, and just not being scared to go there.
Excellent, excellent. You two are doing a fantastic job on everything that
Thank
you're doing.
you.
I'm locked in. Cannot wait to see what's going to go next.
Love to
I'm
hear it.
super
Thank
excited
you.
to
Keep
talk to you
watching.
guys. So definitely, thank you guys for talking
Thank
with
you.
us here at All Hip Hop.
Thank you so much. Enjoyed it.